Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. And if you've been keeping up with what's going on, you know I smoked off my little spot of Spreader Elite over here, and I'm planting some ryegrass. And in this video, I'm gonna kind of show you what I did over there. So Pete, what do you know about growing perennial ryegrass? Well, the extent of my growing ryegrass probably goes back about 10 years. I'd say it's probably a good guess. Between 8 and 10 years of growing it. And the way I grow it, or the way it fits into what I'm talking about is, I've been doing athletic field work for 8 to 10 years. And that's typically what we overseed Bermuda with in the fall of the year, as we go in there with perennial ryegrass, put it down, and then as the Bermuda's dormant, or as it's going dormant, the ryegrass comes in, and that way you keep a green color throughout the winter. And you know the drill, you spray it out in the springtime, the Bermuda wakes back up, then you go back to a Bermuda yard. Obviously, I'm not doing that here. If you can tell, I'm at my house. This is my bluegrass back here, which, by the way, is looking pretty good. Got lots of germination. Now, I know you've seen that video where I've done my overseed and fixed these spots. I got crazy amounts of germination. Everything come up in 6 days. It popped up, and of course it's in that little spout and prout phase right now. It ain't moving a whole lot, but I ain't sweating that. In the next couple weeks it'll start taking off. But back to the ryegrass. I'm not overseeding Bermuda over here in this back corner. Okay, that was my Spreader Elite. I planted to show you some of that, and smoked that off, planted rye. So why am I planting the rye? Really a couple of reasons. One is, and this is the main reason, I've never had the opportunity to grow perennial rye during the summer of the year. Meaning here in North Carolina, hot and humid. Summers can be kind of rough here, and cool season turf, doesn't like that. So it's easy growing rye in the wintertime, especially here. I mean, it's a piece of cake. You almost don't even have to do anything to it, and it looks good. But like I said, I've never had to grow it in the heat of the summer. And so, I like pushing myself to the limit, see what I can do and what I can't do. And that's what I'm going to do here. That's one of the reasons. Second reason is my mowing. I mow the bluegrass really short. And when I get around here to this section, of course, I don't mow that with a real mower. When it was Spreader Elite, I'd get done, have to go in, get another mower, and go out there and mow the Spreader Elite. So obviously, I'm not going to cut that at an inch or sub-inch height of cut. So now I get to mow the whole thing with one mower and be done with it. So perennial ryegrass, cool season turf. If I had to order all the cool season turfs I've dealt with in a specific order, like say heat and drought tolerant, obviously fescue is going to be your most heat and drought tolerant cool season turf. Second, I would go with Kentucky bluegrass, and then third, rye. So out of those three, comparing it to the bluegrass, my opinion, these are all my opinions. I don't have anything to back it up. So it's just going off what I've learned. I just think rye is a weaker turf than bluegrass is. And of course, both of them are weaker than fescue when it comes to drought tolerance. So always let that kind of play into your decision whenever you're deciding what grass you want to go with and all that. The summers are real everywhere there, and it really does get hot, and the water really does cut off when it doesn't rain. So you want to make sure your turf type matches up with your climate for sure. And of course, I like going above and beyond and pushing the limits of that. That's why I have a 15,000 square foot stand of bluegrass back here, and that's why I'm doing the rise, again, to test my limits. But ryegrass looks like fescue, except The grass blade is going to be a little more narrow. It's going to grow upright like a tall fescue plant. Typically, ryegrass is darker green than fescue and even Bermuda, not Bermuda, but even bluegrass. Typically, the ryegrasses I use are darker green than the bluegrass here, even though it's super dark, and then you know how dark my fescue is. And even that yard back there in the back, that yard over there is actually my sister-in-law. My wife's sister lives there. I've seen a bunch of comments on that yard in other videos. My company, my local company, maintains that yard. We do the fertilization, weed control, and my maintenance crews do the mowing on that yard. So if it doesn't look good, then you know, I'm gonna crack some heads. Of course, they don't water. Okay, you got to keep that into consideration. They don't water, so you know it's kind of, when it rains it looks good, when it don't, it don't. So on the ryegrass, you know, it's a great looking turf. It can tolerate you know, low height of cut. It can, you know, be mowed up 3 or 4 inches. It's a really nice, beautiful turf. When I had it out there at the shop, when I overseeded my Bermuda with rye, I mean, it's just, that's the first time I had actually got to mow rye all winter into the spring. Of course, with my company, we just done the overseeding on the athletic fields. We never actually got to mow it. Stripes like crazy. I mean, it like stripes super hard, way harder than my fescue. So, and harder than my blue. I don't know. I might have to renege on that one a little bit. My opinion, I think the bluegrass and the rye stripe about equal. Both stripe better than my fescue, I can't say that. So I done my renovation last fall on the bluegrass, got it up and running. This is my first full season with it. And this back corner, I renovated it a little differently than I've ever done a renovation before. I did not break ground. I didn't physically take a machine or a tool or a Ventrac or an ABI or anything like that and actually disturb the ground. I smoked it off, sprayed it. When it turned brown, that's when I went out with my mower and did my scalping, and I took it down as low as I could get my Y Bravo push mower, self-propelled push mower, and I took it as low to the dirt as I could possibly take it. Well, after that, I brought in some compost and sand mix, and it had a little bit more sand in it than I liked, but it ended up being okay. It wasn't too bad. I wanted like a 50-50 mix, but this was more like a 70-30. And of course, I went out here and I had the load of sand on the bed of my truck, and I shoveled the entire load into wheelbarrows and brought the wheelbarrow out here and dumped it into piles, scattered it out with my shovel, and then I always like to kind of do like a pre-rake to my leveling rake, because the leveling rake isn't really designed to move material and pull and push material, you know, that are in piles. So I use like my landscape rake and got everything, you know, semi-graded, semi-leveled as best I could. And once I did that, then I went back over with my leveling rake, and that, you know, that tool is going to allow me to really fine tune it and get it super flat. And I can also get it really smooth doing it that way. Because again, I'm going to be real mowing the rye. So if I know I'm going into real mowing this, I want the initial grading to be as close to perfect as I can possibly get it, because that limits the work I have to do in the future as far as sand leveling and that kind of thing goes. And this area over here is about 1,000 square feet roughly. So I busted it up into 4 250 square foot plots. So it's just in the shape of a, you know, perfect little cross there, and you know, each little plot's going to get its own section of grass seed or a variety or mix of grass seed. And the reason I say that is because I always break ground. Always. I've always done it that way. So this is totally completely new to me. And it's going to be a good learning experience for me to see if that kind of thing actually makes a difference. So once I got the compost sand mixture applied and smoothed out and leveled, Then I come in with my grass seed, and I have 4 different perennial ryegrasses. I have 2 monostands, meaning 2 solo varieties, and then I have 2 other ones that are blends. One's a 2-way blend, one's a 3-way blend. One I got from a friend of mine up north who has a drop dead gorgeous ryegrass yard. His name's Eli, and man, I'm telling you, his yard is just smoking hot. So this is the same variety that he's got in his yard. And then the second one was, I read on a comment that a gentleman said to try a certain variety. So I went online, I bought that variety, and I bought it from like one of the big online seed stores. And I'm gonna tell you what, I was a little shocked. Because when I got it and read the seed tag, it had like a 0.19% weeds, or a 0.019% weed seed, and a 0.25. Hang on, let me get the bag. I want to make sure I'm telling you right. That's why I wanted to get the seed tag, because I was telling you wrong. The weed seed is a 0.01%, which it doesn't seem like much, but if you've got 5 million grass seeds in a bag, you do the math, 5 million times 0.01%, and that'll tell you how many weed seeds are in there. And then the other crop, now this one I was right, 0.25%. That's a quarter of 1 full percent. So whatever this other crop is, it's quite a bit of it in this bag. So we will find out what comes up with this ryegrass, if anything does come up with it. On that, man, I take a whole lot of pride in our seed tag on our grass seed, saying 0% weed, 0% other crop. It's lab tested to the fullest, and it gets tested several times along the lines, all the way from the farm all the way to when it gets put in the bag. So I take a whole lot of pride in that, because I mean, there's so many weeds in the ground as is. You definitely don't want to be adding weeds as you're seeding. So that's a pretty big deal to me. Then the other 2, one, that's the one we have on the website for sale. Super dark green, got 2 really, really strong varieties in it, and it's blue tag certified, and 0% weed, 0% other crop. So I'll link that one up in the description below, and you can check it out if you're interested. Be aware, this is a 50-pound bag. It's the only size bag we can get, and the shipping on 50 pounds is outrageous. Okay, so in that price you see on the website, about a third of it is the actual shipping cost, what it costs us to ship through UPS. Anything over 45 pounds, there's like this crazy surcharge on it, and I just couldn't get it in a smaller bag. So it is what it is. I have a limited supply. Once that supply is gone, I won't have any more until next year. And the last little section of bluegrass that we're testing out is Barenbrug's top of the line, can't remember what they call it, GXL or GLX or something like that, but that's the Barenbrug ryegrass. And so we've got 4 different ones planted. Now I took my little cardboard and kind of separated it out to try to not cross contaminate as best I could. But on that line where the actual cross, where all 4 varieties meet each other, yeah, you'll get a little cross contamination, but I don't care. It's fine. Out in the open parts, there should be no contamination. So we'll get a real good idea of how these 4 look side by side. Once I got my seed down, I wanted to roll and press the seed into the sand compost mix. And of course, I don't have a roller here. I would have to go to the shop and get the one with Ventrac or the ABI, and it just really wasn't worth it for this little 1,000 square foot plot. So I took my Allet, my C34, and went out there and just rolled over the area, just as if I was mowing. I actually rolled over it 2 times to really kind of press it tight. Now, the trick with rolling is anytime you do that or attempt that, you want to make sure the ground's dry and your roller is dry, because anytime you have wet dirt, it sticks to things, right? So don't attempt that if the ground is wet. It really needs to be as dry as it can get before you attempt rolling. Straight sand, I really don't think that matters. I don't know if sand will stick or not, but I wouldn't think it would be an issue. And once I got it rolled down, I made me a mixture of Green Pop, that's the Greene County fertilizer, starter fertilizer, as my nutrient. I went down with some RGS as my biostimulant, and then I added Tenacity in the tank as well to give me a little bit of long-term or residual control on any weeds that might want to pop up. And you know the drill. Once to get all that done, you want to start your watering. Now, one thing I did today, this morning, I had to make a quick trip to Lowe's and I picked up some more of that netting, that grass seed netting. The reason is, you can see that the storm's gone now, but we were forecasted to have some really bad storms today, this afternoon. And this is the lowest part of my property back here, so everything is going to go to this spot as far as water goes, and it's right up against my neighbors back here, and I didn't want my dirt and my seed end up in his yard for 2 reasons. One, it's just basic respect, and 2, I didn't want to clean it up and have to redo all my work. So I laid those seed blankets down, and what would you know, the big storms missed us, and we just got like a really, really nice, slow soaking rain. And the seed mats really didn't do anything for me. But I am going to leave them there, just like my area over here next to the road with my bluegrass. The second I see germination, I'm going to pull them up. So I'll be removing these as soon as I get germination. The bluegrass over here, I'm actually going to pull it up tomorrow because I've got quite a bit of germination up under there. So I think it's ready. And we're supposed to be dry the rest of the week, so I'm not really worried about any storms or anything. So I can micromanage how much water I put on that area. So there you go. That's my ryegrass renovation. And again, I'm looking forward to that. Now, this is not like the ryegrass test we're doing at the shop. The ryegrass we're planting this fall at my shop is over top of a Bermuda yard. Where this is different out here, this is going to be my permanent grass, at least for a time being, a couple of years until I can figure out if I can grow it or not. So there won't be any killing it off in the spring and replacing it or nothing like that. We're using the same turf type, perennial ryegrass, to do 2 different things. One is a temporary color for Bermuda over the winter because it turns brown, and then back here we're planting it for a permanent yard, or at least a permanent yard as long as I want to make videos on it. Or if it keeps dying off during summer because it's too hot, then that'll make me change it too. Well, I guess that's all I can say about what I got going on back here. I'm expecting germination in a few days, and we'll probably be mowing it in the next week or so. As always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I'll check you later.